Welcome to our annual Frederick Douglass Day. I am Brenda and the president of the Frederick Douglass Honor Society. Today's celebration highlights the life and legacy of Talbot County's most famous son. Frederick Douglass rose from enslavement to become one of the most powerful voices in our nation's history. His tireless work, resilience, and intellect earned him recognition as one of the world's most noble men of the Civil War era, the conscience of the abolitionist movement, and a leader who forever fought for equality for all people. It is my honor to introduce today's Mistress of Ceremonies, Miss Redman. Autumn is an 11th grade student at Easton High School. She has been involved in a variety of community projects and has held numerous leadership positions in organizations that are very important to her. Autumn is a member of the Easton High School soccer, basketball, and track teams. Recently, she completed her 4-H Diamond Clover Level 6 award project that included a Serenity Rock Garden and a bench at the Talbot County Ag Center. For the Girl Scouts Gold Award, Autumn is working with the Frederick Douglass Honor Society at the Talbot County Office of Economic Development and Tourism on a Frederick Douglass geocaching walking, driving tour around Easton. Autumn enjoys cooking, watching television, spending time with her family, friends, and her dog Daisy. So without further ado, please help me welcome Miss Autumn Redman.
Thank you, Ms. Wooden, for the wonderful introduction. I'm honored to have the opportunity to commend the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, the Town of Easton, the Talbot County Free Library, Talbot County, and all of our event participants and sponsors for their tribute to one of America's greatest men. Yes, Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, but he was also born for greatness. His life is an amazing story of struggle, inhumanity to man, determination, strength, intellect, and accomplishment. It is remarkable that Mr. Douglass continues to inspire people of all ages, in all places around the world, and for all the right reasons. Reverend Nancy M. Dennis has served as pastor since April 2010 to the St. Stephen's African Methodist Episcopal Church in historic Unionville. She is a graduate of St. Mary's Seminary and Ecumenical Institute of Theology, where she earned a master's degree in theology with a concentration in church ministries. Reverend Dennis was ordained as an itinerant elder in the African Methodist Episcopal Church in 2009. We are honored to have Reverend Dennis deliver today's invocation.
Good morning. Hebrews 10, verses 35 through 36, urges us not to lose our confidence, but to persevere in doing the will of God. Today's events are a testament to the confidence and perseverance of Frederick Douglass and all those who joined him in the work. To all of you who labored towards today's celebration. Dear God, you are holy and righteous and faithful. The promises you made in Hebrews 10, 35 through 36 are still being fulfilled to this very day. Righteous and powerful God, we are assembled here today to celebrate the prophetic life and work of Frederick Douglass. Today, we are assembled and continue to persevere in confidence of your word, despite threats and challenges to our nation's democracy. We celebrate the works done in faith by Frederick Douglass, the believers who helped in so many ways, risking their lives and their livelihoods to gain the freedom of my enslaved ancestors and the liberty of women in the suffragist movement. We pray for all women everywhere in the United States and abroad who still fight for the right to self-determination. Almighty God, we celebrate you and we thank you for how far you have advanced us all, the while acknowledging that in mind and spirit, our beloved nation has so much more work to be done in the furtherance of liberty and justice for all, and towards achieving the beloved community that is indeed according to your divine will. We ask your blessings and favor upon today's celebration, that all participants and attendees will leave with a cherished memory of today's events. We ask a special dispensation of blessings upon the individuals and organizations represented here today who continue to work for peace and justice. God, please forgive our nation and continue to bless the United States of America and all within. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Dennis. Presenting the colors is a military tradition. The tradition of the color guard began during the English reign around the time of the American Revolution. Bands would travel with soldiers playing patriotic music to keep their spirits high. Today, we are pleased to have the Easton High School NJROTC present the colors.
Present colors!
Thank you, NJROTC members and Easton High School, for keeping our nation's tradition alive. The mission of ROTC is to motivate young people to be better citizens. ROTC is one of the largest character development and citizenship programs for youth in the world. We are most fortunate that Talbot County recognizes the importance of this international organization to help develop stronger students and community. It is a song every American has heard countless times and can probably be recited by heart. The Star-Spangled Banner started as a poem called The Defense of Fort McHenry, written by Francis Scott Key during the War of 1812. The stanzas recount the Battle of Baltimore, a days-long siege between the British and American forces. While the song has been popular and used by numerous American institutes, it was not officially adopted as the anthem of the United States until 1931. Today, we are honored to have the Easton Middle and High School Band share their rendition of our national anthem.
left, right, peace. Carry, guard. Forward, march.
Thank you to our Easton Middle and High School band members. In 2007, Brent D. Glass, a director of the Smithsonian Museum, stated, "The Star-Spangled Banner is a symbol of American history that ranks with the Statue of Liberty and characters of freedom." Thank you, Easton Middle and High School band members, for your inspiring music. The patriotic oath, attributed to a Baptist minister named Francis Bellamy, published in a children's magazine in September 1892, commemorated the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's maiden voyage to America. Today, the members of BAAM, Building African American Minds, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
We are BAAM, and we are honored to be a part of the Fred Douglass recognition, the day. Here representing over 60 boys who mostly are in football today. But we have our representatives here, and we will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, BAAM, for your leadership and dedication to building stronger lives, community, and tomorrow's leaders. North meets South's Toronto-born guitarist Danielle Cumming and American tenor John Wesley Wright from Rome, Georgia joined forces in 2007 when they met in Maryland as colleagues at Salisbury University and have now performed together for over a decade. While their repertoire ranges from the Renaissance to modern popular music, it is African American spirituals that hold a central place in their performances and educational outreach programs. Today they are sharing a special arrangement of We Are by Issei Marie Barnwell, a former member of Sweet Honey in the Rock.
Hello, everyone. Look at this. Isn't this great? This is fantastic. I want you to take this moment in. We are indeed not divided. We are together. So it's a delight to be have been asked to be a part of this again. My favorite part is the parade, and I am going to remember candy next time. So, and thank you, band, for your beautiful music and for reminding me how much I miss playing the clarinet. So this is fantastic. Thank you. So Danielle and I, Danielle, we just came back from Toronto. We are indeed, I'm from Rome, Georgia, and we just came back from her hometown in Toronto, so hence the name North Meets South, and we met right here in the middle in Maryland. We're going to share words that I really want all of you to take in today. These lyrics are very special. Dr. Barnwell has contributed so much to African American culture, to the body of work in African American culture. So, We Are by Dr. is Issei Marie Barnwell. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and sons of great vision, sisters of mercy, brothers of love. We are lovers of life and builders of nations, seekers of truth, keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wright and Dr. Cumming, for your inspirational music. Dr. Wright and Dr. Cumming will also be performing today on our entertainment stage. Our next guest, Joy Priest, is the author of Horsepower, selected by the U.S. Poet Laureate Natasha Trethway as the winner of the Donald Hall Prize for Poetry. Her poems have appeared in the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series and The Atlantic, among others, as well as in commissions for the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, and the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. She is an Imprint Maryland Anderson Foundation Fellow, a doctoral student in literature and creative writing at the University of Houston, and the editor of Once a City Said, a Louisville poet anthology, forthcoming from Sara Band Books in 2023. Today, Ms. Priest will read her newly authored and first reading of her Frederick Douglass poetry.
Testing, okay. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm very grateful to be here today to have been asked to write an original piece for Frederick Douglass Day and for the invitation from the Frederick Douglass Honor Society. This is a very special gathering. I just feel so lucky to be here. I was thinking when I was in the car in the parade about the poem I had finished just this morning because the band was playing Earth, Wind, and Fire, September, I believe, yeah. And for some reason, Earth, Wind, and Fire came into the poem. And sometimes you just let those things come in, right? I was like, I don't know what it's doing here with Frederick Douglass, but the band knew, so. This is a sonnet for Frederick Douglass. Spirit, I have heard the spirituals Frederick heard in those dense old woods, moving, though not knowing it, toward you, without a mother's hand covering his hand, without a beginning. Those wild notes, I have heard them, Spirit, reaching through time toward me, out of the mouth of a woman in the pulpit on Sunday morning, a voice stretching almost violently, stretching again even, like a whine, a half step more up to those sharp notes beyond the threshold of pain. I have seen the fugitive bead of sweat slipping down her forehead, freedom in those wild songs first sung to a congregation of trees. First audience, first applause that comforted a soul hiding in those lonely woods. Light dappled glory, nearly. Thank you, Spirit. I have heard them, the spirituals in Douglas's sentences, which he turned into a portal, which he entered in September, somewhere in Baltimore, and stepped out of days later into humanity, and so therefore, of course, delivering us closer to our own. Between the trees, like a wild song he moved. Over the water he walked, he flew. But tell me, Spirit, has he heard the holy voices of earth, wind, and fire singing, "You Can't Hide Love"? Or James Baldwin pleading to America? Or Marley plucking the notes to redemption song? Is he listening? Oh, Spirit, this is how I imagine heaven. Oh, beloved, 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 closer to glory. Oh, glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Priest, for traveling from Houston, Texas to participate in our Frederick Douglass Day celebration and for writing such beautiful poetry about our native son. As someone who was partially raised by books and television, Lance Morris has always been intrigued by the power of language. He has a bachelor's degree in English literature, and like most of that disciple, he has an alarming number of books and movies. Lance is a communications coordinator for the Easton Economic Development Corporation and works tirelessly highlighting the rich history of Easton to its natives and visitors and keeping communication a constructive force. Today, Lance will read the speech Frederick Douglass delivered on May 30th, 1878 in Union Square.
Is this on? Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'll be reading Frederick Douglass on Remembering the Civil War. This was read in 1878, and it goes like this. Friends and fellow citizens, in this place, hallowed and made glorious by a statue of the best man, truest patriot, and wisest statement of his time and country, I have been invited, I might say ordered, by the Lincoln Post of the Grand Army of the Republic to say a few words to you in appropriate celebration of this annual National Memorial Day. We tender you on this Memorial Day the homage of the loyal nation and the heartfelt gratitude of emancipated millions. If the great work you undertook to accomplish is still incomplete, if a lawless and revolutionary spirit is still abroad in the country, if the principles for which you bravely fought are in any way compromised or threatened, if the Constitution and the laws are in any measure dishonored and disregarded, if duly elected state governments are in any way overthrown by violence, if the elective franchise has been overborne by intimidation and fraud, if the southern states, under the idea of local self-government, are endeavoring to paralyze the arm and shrivel the body of national government so it cannot protect the humblest citizen and his rights, the fault is not yours. You, at least, were faithful and did your whole duty. Fellow citizens, I am not here to fan the flame of sectional animosity, to revive old issues, or to stir up strife between the races. But no candid man, looking at the political situation of the hour, can fail to see that we are still afflicted by the painful sequences of both slavery and the labor rebellion. In the spirit of the noble man whose image now looks down upon us, we should have charity towards all, and malice towards none. In the language of our greatest soldier, twice honored with the presidency of the nation, let us have peace. Yes, let us have peace, but let us have liberty, law, and justice first. Let us have the Constitution with its 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments fairly interpreted, faithfully executed, and cheerfully obeyed in the fullness of their spirit and the completeness of their letter. My own feeling toward the old master class of the South is well known. Though I have worn the yoke of bondage, I have no love for what are called the good old times of slavery. There is in my heart no taint of malice toward the ex-slaveholders. Many of them were not sinners above all others, but were in some sense the slaves of the slave system. For slavery was a power in the state greater than the state itself. With the aid of a few brilliant orators and plotting conspirators, it sundered the bonds of the Union and inaugurated war. Nevertheless, we must not be asked to say that the South was right in the rebellion, or to say that the North was wrong. We must not be asked to put no difference between those who fought for the Union, those who fought against it, or between loyalty and treason. But the sectional character of this war was merely accidental and its least significant feature. It was a war of ideas, a battle of principles and ideas which united one section and divided the other. A war between the old and the new, slavery and freedom, barbarism and civilization, between a government based upon the broadest and grandest declaration of human rights the world ever heard or read, and another pretended government based upon an open, bold, and shocking denial of all rights except the right of the strongest. Good, wise, and generous men at the North is power and out of power, for whose good intentions and patriotism we must all have the highest respect, doubt the wisdom of observing this Memorial Day, and would have us forget and forgive, strew flowers alike and lovingly on rebel and loyal graves. This sentiment is noble and generous, worthy of all honor as such, but it is only a sentiment after all, and must submit to its own rational limitations. There was a right side and a wrong side in the late war, which no sentiment ought to cause us to forget. And while today we should have malice towards none and charity towards all, it is no part of our duty to confound right with wrong or loyalty with treason. If the observance of this Memorial Day has an apology, office, or significance, it is derived from the moral character of this war, from the far-fetching, unchangeable, and eternal principles in dispute, and for which our sons and brothers encountered hardship, danger, and death. Though freedom of speech and of the ballot have for the present fallen before the shotguns of the South, and the party of the slavery is now in the ascendant, we need bate no jot of heart or hope. The American people will, in any great emergency, be true to themselves. The heart of the nation is still sound and strong, and as in the past, so in the future, patriotic millions with able captains to lead them will stand as a wall of fire around the Republic, and in the end see liberty, equality, and justice triumphant. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Morris, for reading Frederick Douglass's Decoration Day speech. Sara Chappel is a recent graduate of Easton High School with the class of 2022. She is a freshman at the University of Maryland at College Park. She's a double major in classics and secondary education and hopes to become a secondary Latin teacher. She has been singing since she was very young and is honored to be able to share her gift with the community.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am full and short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You have every failure, God, and you'll have every victory. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, oh, I believe, yes, I believe what you say of me. I believe.
Thank you, Ms. Chappel, for sharing your amazing talent with all of us. Mayor Robert C. Wiley served the town of Easton as a council member for 6 years before becoming council president for another 6 years and elected mayor in May 2003. He is a lifelong resident of Talbot County and a graduate of Easton High School. He spent 41 years with Waverly Press before retiring and more than 50 years as a member of the Easton Fire Department, serving as a secretary, treasurer, and firefighter. Mayor Willey has been working with the Frederick Douglass Honor Society for more than 10 years and was instrumental in bringing the Frederick Douglass Memorial to Easton, Maryland. Mayor Willey also serves a member of the Frederick Douglass Day Committee.
Good morning. It's awful being the only short person on the podium, so I am almost on tiptoes. For June 18th, 2011, can you believe it's been over 11 years since the dedication to the Frederick Douglass Memorial? And those of you who were there that day remember how hot it was. It must have been 110 standing in the sunlight up here. One only has to pause and reflect on the issues that surfaced during the initial fundraising. Choosing a sculptor, sculpture selection, finding a location, and above all else, finding a person or persons to take over the project reins. After what seemed like years, the leadership was turned over to Eric and Harriet Lowry and the Frederick Douglass Honor Society. The project soon shifted into high gear, producing the product you see before you today. Not only does the statue appear to have been here forever, but other outcomes have surfaced that together make Easton the pleasing town it has become. Several dilapidated homes, part of the Hill community, have been rebuilt, and the 3 have become owner-occupied. There are still 3 more to go. A loan program has been established to help low to moderate wage earners make repairs they could not have otherwise afforded to do. The town of Easton has been squarely behind the efforts to make home ownership a reality. Other projects that have benefited under Frederick Douglass's name are various education programs, established parks, Boy Scout and Girl Scout projects in honor of this man we call our native son. Several private public projects have started as well in the near future to improve sections of the town to all of our citizens. In a short period of time, this memorial has become such a part of our history. At its current location on the courthouse lawn, it appears to have been there for a much longer period of time, as a symbol of justice and unity that we all hope Easton will continue to adhere to. So let's not stop. We have the momentum and drive to do much, much more. There are still many problems to find answers for. We want visitors to know that Easton cannot wait. The issues need to be addressed right now. If we don't have the resources, we need to look for them. Money can always be an issue, so we'll have to find it. This town just doesn't operate without volunteers, so we will look for help as we need. In the years to come, when we are solving more and more problems, people will say, that Easton, boy, in the true belief of Frederick Douglass, they really get things done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Willey, for your leadership and keeping Easton such a lively and beautiful place to live, work, and play. It is always a pleasure to have you and Miss Willey here with us during our Frederick Douglass Day celebrations. Corey W. Pack is serving his 3rd elected term on the Talbot County Council after his appointment in 2007 to fill a vacancy. Mr. Pack attended Dundalk High School, where he was recognized as a scholar athlete by the Greater Baltimore chapter of the National Football Foundation. He attended the University of Delaware with a Bachelor's of Science degree in criminal justice. Mr. Pack recently retired from the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services, where he served as a field supervisor in the Midshore area. He is a member of the Frederick Douglass Board of Directors and a member of the Frederick Douglass Day Committee.
Thank you, Amber, for that introduction. Madam President, fellow board members, distinguished leaders, and friends and family and residents and guests of Talbot County. It is my distinct honor to welcome you to this courthouse lawn. I've been doing this for some time now. As Autumn said, since 2007, I've been a member of Talbot County Council, served in many capacities from vice president to president over the last 15 years. You guys have had to endure me. This is my last run. As you all know, I am not running for re-election. And I must say, with a full-filled heart, it has been my pleasure to serve you for the last 15 years. This will probably be my last time addressing you in front of this podium in this type of a gathering. And I do so bearing a new symbol, which is a member of the Frederick Douglass Honor Society Board, a board that I have longed to be a part of because of what it stood for. My dear friend Eric Lowry, that Mayor Willey alluded to, he and I met many, many years ago on the campaign trail when he was campaigning for then Judge Asparagus, and I was out campaigning for myself, and we came together and just shared stories. And when it came time to find someone to lead this effort, Mayor, myself, and then Delegate Jeannie Hathaway-Riccio thought of no better person than Eric Lowry. And he pulled together a group of dedicated people, talented people, and this group has been around now 12 years, uplifting the life and legacy of Frederick Douglass, and rightfully so, rightfully so. This man stood for so much and has taught us so much over the lifetime. His writings, his teachings, and in some cases his preaching has really profoundly affected all of us in some way. It is my pleasure to be a member of the Frederick Douglass Board. It is my pleasure to welcome you to these courthouse greens for this occasion. The County Council has also, in the way of honoring Frederick Douglass, put monies aside for the creation of the Frederick Douglass Park on the Tuckahoe, a name which no other Frederick Douglass Park in the state of Maryland or across this world can say. We will be the only Frederick Douglass Park on the Tuckahoe, where Frederick Douglass was born. The park is going to sit outside of the town of Queen Anne, just about 20 minutes north of here. There is a 501c3 that is being formed to help the county in the creation and payment for this park. And from the original or the conceptual drawings that I've seen, it is going to be a marvelous, marvelous park that generations of Tabaconians and visitors from all over can come and witness the life and legacy of Frederick Douglass. Right behind me is the county library here in Easton. If you have not been inside of the Douglass Reading Room, I would invite you to do so. We have artifacts there, original artifacts of Frederick Douglass, his writings. There's a portrait there of his wife, Anna Mary, that's now being on display. So I would invite you to take part of that as well. The wonderful statue that you see every day when you pass by is just one part of the life and legacy of Talbot County, of Frederick Douglass here in Talbot County, and one part of the effort that we want to share with you about this great American hero. So enjoy your day. There's a fun-filled, packed schedule ahead of you. And thank you very much for being here on the courthouse lawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pack, for your comments and your service to the people of Talbot County. Please help me welcome the outstanding and musically talented members of the Cambridge South Dorchester High School Band under the direction of Ray Washington. Thank you, Cambridge South Dorchester High School band members. We are most grateful that you are a part of this year's Frederick Douglass celebration. We hope it becomes a tradition. Dr. Sharon Pepukai was appointed as the superintendent of Talbot County Schools in July 2022. She previously served as an assistant superintendent for the Appoquinimink School District. As an educator for 30 years, Dr. Pepukai has served in numerous roles, including student advisor, mentor, reading coach, teacher, assistant principal, and principal prior to moving to district administration. She was a student of St. Michael's High School and pursued her secondary education in North Carolina, Ohio, and Delaware. Dr. Pepukai is a collaborator and believes in unleashing the talents of others. She has worked tirelessly to develop leaders and promote equity and diversity.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone here, and as I notice, the sun has come out and shined right there on the statue, so it's a beautiful day to be here, and I echo Dr. Wright's words when I'm reminiscing of being in the band back at St. Michael's High and marching down the street, so it's good to be back home. We all know Frederick Douglass was an outstanding author and orator and had many quotes, and one of my famous quotes that he said was, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." And so I say that for Talbot County Public Schools, our theme this year is transforming and performing the TCPS way. And we want to build strong children, strong in education, because we do know education is power. And so preparing them with 21st century skills, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity, we want to prepare them, whether they're going to go into the workforce or they're going to be college bound, that they have those skills to be successful in whatever. So I'm thankful for the group, the organizers, of sharing your time, your treasure, and talents and putting together this day. I'm looking forward to the festivities of the day. I'm excited for the Geocache project that I want to jump into. Thank you for the students that are here showing their leadership skills in the BAAM students, the band, and others, the MC, because that's what it's all about, showing and preparing our students to become leaders of our community. So I thank you, and as I always say, it's a great day for success at TCPS, so thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pepukai. As a student of Easton High School, we are honored to have you as our superintendent of Talbot County Schools. Dana Newman is the director of the Talbot County Free Library. She holds a master's degree in library science and BS in secondary education English. She is a graduate of the Maryland Library Institute and a longtime member of the Maryland Library Association, the Public Library Association of Public Library Administrators, among other professional affiliations.
I want to commend Autumn. She's doing a wonderful job, so thank you, Autumn. It's really inspiring to see all the students out here. I just love seeing everybody, especially all the musicians. They're doing a great job. The parade was really inspirational. This day is very inspirational. Frederick Douglass Day celebrates all that Frederick Douglass achieved and inspired. It's about a day of education. to not only learn and celebrate his achievements and legacy, but it is also a day of discovery, inspiration, and reflection. It is a day for all of us to think about and discuss the concepts and ideals surrounding freedom, justice, equality, and education, especially around education, and how we might inspire others to do so as well. This year, Frederick Douglass Day also falls on the last day of Banned Books Week, which celebrates the freedom to read and spotlights current and historical attempts to censor books in libraries and schools. Last year alone, nationwide, close to 1,700 books were targeted for censorship in schools and libraries. By the end of this year, that number is supposed to grow. Today serves as a very timely reminder of how the right to read books remains one of the most contested activities in American culture. Works that lift up marginalized voices by authors like Frederick Douglass, Toni Morrison, Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, Ralph Ellison, Alice Walker, among many others, have been those among the most censored in recent years. There's many, many more, guys. This is not a good time right now for libraries, for schools, and you really think about what's happening. Sharing a story is important to us means sharing a part of ourselves. Books reach across boundaries and build connections between readers. Censorship, on the other hand, creates barriers. It's all about having the ability to go into a library, into a school, to really have the freedom to choose what you want to read and to think about what you want to think about. Frederick Douglass, like no other, knew the unifying power of stories. In a speech in 1894, he said, "Education means emancipation. It means light and liberty. It means the uplifting of the soul of man into the glorious light of truth, the light only by which men can be free. To deny education to any people is one of the greatest crimes against human nature." In essence, Douglass believed that education, the act of reading, the power of books, is the key to bettering oneself, as it opens doors and offers numerous opportunities. So I hope to see you throughout the day today at the Children's Village, at the library, here at the Courthouse Green, under Frederick Douglass' eyes. I encourage you to check out a book about Frederick Douglass, to learn more about him, to learn about his legacy, to read his writings and speeches. You'll be inspired by his words of courage and perseverance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Newman. We now turn the program over to the Easton Middle and High School bands for their next musical selections. Thank you for that wonderful performance. The Easton High School Band is fundraising for new uniforms. If anyone would like to make a donation, please see the band director, Mr. Osterly. It has been an honor to serve as today's Mistress of Ceremonies. In closing, I would like to thank all of our parade and welcome ceremony participants, sponsors, and lead sponsors, Mr. and Mrs. Paul B. Prager, the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, the Town of Easton, Easton Utilities, Maryland Public Television, Talbot County, members of the Frederick Douglass Day Committee, and our extraordinary volunteers. We hope that you will join us at the Talbot County Free Library with Jeff McGinnis and talk about his newly released book, Bear Me Into Freedom, the Talbot County of Frederick Douglass, and book signing at 11:45. Dr. Robert Levine, author of The Failed Promise, Reconstruction, Frederick Douglass, and the Impeachment of Andrew Johnson, will share the story of Douglass's heated struggle with President Johnson at the Talbot County Free Library at 1 p.m. A questions and answers session with Dr. Levine and Tim Bruno, an instructor of English at Howard Community College, will follow the lecture. Dr. Levine will sign copies of his book at Flying Cloud Booksellers at 2:15 p.m. Visit the Frederick Douglass Room at the library to see the newest painting of Frederick Douglass on display by local artist and teacher Laura Era, owner of Troika Gallery, Talbot County's newest Frederick Douglass treasure and artifacts. A children's village is open until 3 p.m. Live entertainment begins at 12 noon, and our marketplace is open until 4 p.m. We hope you enjoy the music, the lectures, great food, and merchandise as you continuously learn more about our native son throughout the day. Be sure to stop and see me at my library table to learn about my Girl Scouts Gold service project the Frederick Douglass Geocaching Trail. You can get the instructions, passport booklet, and map that will lead you around Easton. Upon completion of the trail, you will receive your prize, a commemorative geocaching coin. It's a great way to learn about Frederick Douglass's history in Talbot County while touring the town of Easton. Later today, the Frederick Douglass Honor Society website will introduce a new video produced by Tim Young and Debbie Dodson that tells the story of Douglass's early life in Talbot County and his return visits to Talbot County as a free and well-accomplished man. On behalf of the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, thank you for joining us and honoring our nation's icon, Frederick Douglass. Our bands will sound their music and lead the way to the Talbot County Free Library, Children's Village, Marketplace, and Entertainment area. See you there and have a great weekend.